Ned, it seems hardly a coincidence that this is a pivotal moment in terms of Russia and Russia's finances. There is a lot of reporting that they could default by Wednesday if someone doesn't bail them out. And now you have the National Security Advisor on a quick trip to Rome to talk to the Chinese in a matter of some urgency. So would it be fair to conclude that it is vitally important to the sanctions that were imposed on the central bank and on Russia in general by the U.S. that you get an answer in the next, within 24 hours, within 48 hours from China, that this is a key moment in terms of potential financial support?
Andrea, I think it is fair to conclude that the Russian economy is in dire straits. That has been the case ever since the series of sanctions and other economic measures were instituted at the very outset of the invasion of Ukraine. We can point to any number of metrics. I did see an independent analysis that Russia's on the brink of default. We know that its credit rating is now at junk status. We know that the Russian stock market will be closed at least through this week, now going on several weeks of closure, in an apparent effort to forestall capital flight that is bound to happen as soon as the Russian stock market reopens, whenever that is. The ruble is almost literally worthless. It is worth less than a penny at this point. You could go on and on and on. Here's the point. We've made very clear that any country that would seek to attempt to bail Russia out of this economic, financial morass will be met with consequences. We will ensure that no country is able to get away with such a thing. But here's the other point. No form of economic or financial support will be able to extricate Russia from the strategic morass that it has created for itself. Russia today, Russia going forward, is a much weaker country. It is a country that is in a strategically unenviable position because of the diplomatic isolation, the diplomatic rebuke, but also the economic costs and the export controls. The measures that we have put in place to see to it that Russia cannot import the inputs, key components it needs for its strategic ambitions in the world. That is not going to change. That will not change until and unless President Putin changes course.
The export controls are a long-term issue for Russia. The collapse of its currency and lack of reserves to bail it out is precipitous.
You have a series of short-term and long-term measures.
In the short term, what do you understand the financial relationship between Russia and China to be as of today?
Look, I will let these two countries speak to their relationship. It's not for me to characterize the economic relationship or the potential economic relationship. It is for me to characterize the consequences that would befall any country, whether the PRC or otherwise, that would seek to help Russia avoid the brunt of the measures that have been put in place by really the rest of the world, or certainly a large majority of the world. And that's the other important point. Russia and China, when you combine their GDPs, it's something like 25% of global GDP. When you combine the GDP, the economic might of the United States, the European Union, our allies in the Indo-Pacific, our other allies and partners that have joined us, well over 50%. So there is not a country out there that would be able to fully extricate Moscow from this. The only thing that could relieve the pressure, that could extricate in a meaningful way Moscow from the morass it has created for itself is for Putin to change course, to de-escalate and to end the violence.
And is it your understanding that there was an answer on this subject today in Rome?
As I was coming down here, the meeting had not concluded, or at least the last time I received an update, the meeting had not concluded, so I will leave that to the White House to characterize. Yes, sir.
From Airway News TV.